Keeping this one in. We're gonna keep it in.
I don't think I need to take that call.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's dying.
I don't think anyone's dying, and I don't think we're gonna need to spread any rumors from that person that you just ignored. So take that. Today's episode is all about video game rumors. Shh. Rumors. Okay. They get the point. The people get the point. Video game rumors. They are as old as time. They have changed over the years. Things have been made from rumors alone, which we'll talk about in the body of this episode. But I'd like to say hello and happy luncheon hour to my partner and co-host, Uncle Bob Bear, Bob the Ace. Bob, how are you?
Ready to contribute to more midlife crises and
fantastic.
and reflections on childhood memories that may or may not have contributed to our current state of life.
Very good. Yeah, there you are. Like how you put it, current state of life.
Yeah, that's right.
So rumors in video games have been hand in hand type thing. It's I think baked into the culture of being a gamer, if you want to use that term.
So still a big part of gaming culture is finding out when something's coming out. What's the rumor? Is the rumor true or not? Whose sources are credible and who aren't?
Right.
But then there's this entire history of rumors that start basically on the playgrounds of the 80s and early 90s. Absolutely. For us. I want to talk about those, and then talk about just how rumor culture has changed over the years for better and for worse, and it's been both for better and for worse.
It's definitely been for better and for worse. An example of better, and we'll get to this in more detail, but if it wasn't for rumors, we wouldn't have animalities in Mortal Kombat 3, which I know how many of you out there really care about the animalities in Mortal Kombat 3. But that's one example of many of stories being told at parks and schools across the country, across the world, and then those ideas kind of coming back into the purview of the developers and then coming out as actual points of gameplay design, which is a funny thing that happens. Why, since this is your idea, this is your topic, why don't you start us off and figure out where this ship is going to be going down the rumor river, pal?
So I wanted to start off with the first rumor that ever changed my life in video games, and it's the very infamous negative world in the original Super Mario Brothers.
Perfect.
And so the year is 1987, 88-ish, something like that. And on school yards, I'm going to just say all over America, kids were always talking about this negative world in Super Mario Brothers. And I very specifically remember having people tell me about it, multiple people telling me about it. And then everybody always had somebody who had showed it to them or they had seen it, but they can never reproduce it and they can never describe exactly how to get it. That was my experience with it.
Okay. So, now I mentioned a little earlier offline that we were maybe going to have a little debate, perhaps a spirited conversation about this.
Yeah.
So I have a very specific memory of Negative World, of me showing you Negative World when we were really young adults, I think. So I'm going to lay out the whole memory, and then we can, you can tell me that didn't happen, and then at that point I'm going to be like, no, it happened, and then that'll be the end of our riveting content here. But we used to do this thing called Magic Night, which was where we would sit around and we'd teach each other tricks and illusions to that's not true. We played Magic the Gathering while our peer group was out doing keg stands and having premarital sex.
I just went to Magic Castle for the first time.
Oh, so like where I was going was like, you were like, yeah, we were learning tricks.
Yeah, this is great.
I can pull a rabbit out of a hat.
That was one of the things that happened at Magic Castle.
Yes. So anyway, at these Magic Nights where we would stay up all night eating snacks and playing Magic with grown adults, as you do. We were talking about Negative World, like the whole subject came up, and then I said that I could show it to you, and you said to me, that's not true. No one's been able to show it to me. You can't. You're full of shit. The whole thing, whatever that was that you said.
Okay.
I then took you into my bedroom. We put on Mario, and I did it. I showed you how to do it, and then you were like, and I remember very specifically you saying like, wow, like all these years I've heard about this, I've never been able to see it, and then I showed it to you, and I figured out how to do it. I think by I want to say like I read about it in a magazine or something like that, and then just through trial and error and doing it, because it's really like once you figure out exactly how to do it, you can recreate it every single time. It's all about getting the Mario's little boot, like just the right angle off of the corner of that block in World 1-2, and then you have to crouch. Very important. You've got to crouch first, then jump.
Jump backwards.
You don't have the backwards or forwards doesn't matter.
Okay.
What matters is the foot being off on the right pixel and doing the crouching jump and then moving into the block.
And then also by moving into the block, you walk through the wall to the warp zone.
Right.
But you can't go all the way into the warp zone room, or else the warp zone will just pop up.
Yes.
You have to go into the warp zone room about a third to halfway.
Yeah, without the whole screen scrolling on.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you specifically have to go down the middle pipe.
Yes.
And that will take you to negative world. If you go down any of the outer pipes, you go to world 5, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So one of two things has happened here. Either A, you are just misremembering this entirely because you were so desperate for my friendship that you just manufactured a memory of you impressing me.
Uh-huh.
Or B, I pretended like what you said happened. You showed me negative world, but I just pretended to only be experiencing it for the first time because I wanted you to impress me.
No, that I don't believe at all. That one I don't believe. I don't believe either one because I have the memory that I have, and I'm willing to. I'm willing to tell you down in my bone marrow that this whole thing happened.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was like literally like 22 years ago. So you never know. It could be a manufactured memory. I'm saying it's not. You're saying it is. Tomato, tomato. What's important is that I impressed him either way.
So I'm going to tell you the actual memory that I have, the one that is seared into my brain, which is that after hearing all these rumors about negative world when I was 7, probably a year passes or longer. And my older brother at the time comes home from he'd been in the military for a year, hadn't seen him for a year, was really excited.
Right.
And he comes home and he's like, oh yeah, Super Mario Brothers. Not much to do in the military, so I've been playing a lot of that. Okay. And he does one thing that was pretty impressive to me, which is I think at the end of World 1, you can do this bit, or World 3-1, you can do this bit where you jump on the turtle and then you get like 1,000,000 lives from just bouncing on it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to do that. I'd also heard about that.
That's the other. Yeah, that's the other big long talked about glitch of Mario Brothers.
Yeah, right. and then so if you do it enough, you instead of getting like 78, 79 lives, it turns into different like characters and blocks and different icons from the game. So he showed me that and I was like, whoa, so that's really a thing. Oh my God, it's so crazy. And then he was just playing. He was like, oh, do you want to see Negative World? And he just shows me Negative World. And I was like, I can't believe it. It's like,
it's all real.
The stories, they're all true.
Yeah. It's so cool that, okay, so you have that memory that's seared in your brain.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to my brother now, and he's going to tell me that he's like, that's a manufactured memory, man. That never actually happened.
We've talked about Lawnmower Man on this show in the past.
I know we're living in a simulation.
It just seems like this would be one of those things where if we had some sort of VR studio in our basement, we could figure these memories out.
Yeah, totally.
But we'll just settle with playing Cosmic Smash on the PSVR 2.
Well, and Mario Paint drawings on.
Got him. Got him. Rumors. Shh. So anyway,
that's our technology.
Yeah, but I think Negative World. So the first ever like big rumor / Easter egg in a video game of note was Atari 2600 Adventure. That's kind of where it all started. And someone, obviously the developer, hid their name in the game, and I forget exactly how to access it. You could Google it if you're that interested. You probably won't be though, because it's a 2600 game, and unless you're like 60.
It's not a very impressive reveal either.
It's
just a name.
It's just a guy's name. But obviously that developer hid his name in his game because at that time, video game development you wouldn't get credit. Like it took the David Cranes of the world to finally actually say no, we need to give ourselves credit in these games because we're creators. And that's something that in Japan they wouldn't do for years. Like they were into like the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn before you saw actual real names in Japanese credits. It was always these pseudonyms, and that was to prevent headhunting from company to company back then. So that one would have been the first, but you got to assume that there's no internet, there's nothing like that. Atari did have magazines, and there was old computer magazines and stuff like that at the time, but like by and large, that rumor of the Easter egg in Adventure had to have been circulated by kids playing the game and discovering it and talking about how to do it and trial and error and all that good stuff.
But that was so one of the reasons I wanted to do this episode is because before the internet, all you had was word of mouth.
Yeah.
And there was something, and the reason that my memory is so seared into me is because there's something revelatory about being a kid, hearing scurrilous stuff or talk, and it was like a legendary rumor on the playground, and it was talked about by at least 5 or 6 different people in my life.
Well, to cut you off real quick, let's discuss what it is. Negative world, for people who don't know, negative world means -1, meaning when Mario goes down the little pipe, it comes up, it always says like world 1-1 or 1-3. This says -1, so that's where the word negative, or the name negative world, comes from.
Yes.
But it is an infinitely repeating water world where you go from end to end, and I think it's actually, I can't remember if it's a unique water world or if it's just that one water level like played over and over and over with an endless loop. I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
But what's novel about this is like it was a whole secret part of the game, even though it's a glitch. It came across, the rumor as advertised was like, no, there's a secret whole level in Mario.
This is exactly correct.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking like, so we talked on the Metroid episode about how you would, at the end of Metroid, I think Zero Mission, you would kill Mother Brain and then you would just knock down a wall and then there's all this new content that you would get. That's sort of what Negative World was in my mind, that basically you would go to the secret place and there's a whole new
bonus
Super Mario game. Yeah. And instead, the actual reveal is like, it's a little disappointing. It's like, oh, it's just a water level that you just swim through over and over and over again. But the fact that it felt in my 8-year-old mind like it was a calendar year between me first hearing about it and then me seeing it actually pulled off. Yeah. So much so that I
in 2002 at my house.
Yes. I had given up on the rumor being true and just assumed that it's just some scuttlebutt, that kids would tell lies on the playground or whatever. So again, when it was shown to me in roughly 1989 by my older brother, with me standing right there next to him,
fair enough.
It was, it was incredible. It was like it just blew my mind. Like, I can't believe this thing is actually real. It's one thing to have a rumor and then have it not be confirmed, and we got a few of those to talk about.
There's a few of those, yeah.
But to actually have one, to see it basically die in my head, and then years later to have it resurrect and be like, oh no, it was here all along. Here it is. I just I'll never forget it. So that anyway, that was a great moment in my life. Not in 2002. Not in 2002.
Well, again, without the proper technology and equipment as featured in Lawnmower Man, we're never going to get to the bottom of this. So we'll have to agree to move on.
Yeah, it's used the word technology. So anyway, so the point of that last bit though is that today you cannot have something like that because internet, social media, whatever, everything is just spoiled immediately.
So well, hold on a minute there, guy. And I might be jumping ahead on your notes. I don't know, but I'm going to just say this now because your statement freshened me up to it. But so I'm a big Souls guy, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, et al. And although the getting time, where the getting is good on playing those games is at the very beginning when they first come out because nothing is discovered yet. And in a way, like this culture that we're talking about, the secret, the secrets and rumors that are spread around on playgrounds across the country back in the 80s and 90s, I think that really does exist still, and only in those games, because the developers clearly make it a mission to pack as much content as they can in those, and purpose. It's like really obtuse on purpose. Like story elements in those games you have to go out of way to find, but like entire big broad concepts of those games, like taking down bosses. Like in the case of Elden Ring, which is just loaded to the brim with stuff. Like there's boss fights that I have probably like 200 hours in Elden Ring by now, I think, and there's still stuff that like I'll go in every once in a while and I'll find like a whole area or like a whole boss.
You had mentioned in our chat room that we have that you were just kind of ditzing around in there recently within like the last couple months. Yeah. And you found some cave or something, and then all of a sudden it's like
huge area.
5 hours of new content just from
Hello? 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 What the Why is my voice like that? Why is my voice like that? Hello? Oh. Am I dead? 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 Hello? What? Hello? Hello? Wait. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh. I had to mute it. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, This one is super fucking badass. It's got, well, it's, so, here it is. All right, we did double impact. One, do not try to adjust your computer or set or phone. 2 Jean-Claude Van Damme's. 2 Johns. 1 and 2. This is, so basically, like, if you want to talk about, like, a value, right, in your entertainment, right here, look no fucking further. 2 of them. So, the movie starts out, like, fucking super, cool, because there's, we're talking Van Damme babies. There's 2 of them. As you can see, and the movie starts off with with Van Damme babies, and you can tell right off the fucking bat, that these babies would probably whip any other baby's ass. Easy, no problem at all about it. No 2 ways about it, all right? So, in the movie, here, wait, I wanted to try something. I wanted to try out something. Maybe I can do it just like the movie. Hold on. Yep, wait. That's probably better. Yep, look at that. Oh, no, wait. Yep, there we go. So not only is there 2 Van Dammes in this movie, but you got 2 of me right there, and then right there, right? So can you imagine what that would have been like? All right, so back to the movie. Jean-Claude here, he's Chad, right? Chad is like, he knows how to dance, and he's like a superstar with the ladies, right? Because he teaches dance and like yoga, mainly. But over here, that's Alex, okay? Alex, he's got the gun. He's the fucking badass, right? So like, they were separated at birth. They didn't know it, but their dad and mom were murdered by Bolo Young, which like, Bolo causes so much fucking damage to this guy. I tell you, like, he's in a bunch of movies, and he's just always fucking causing riffraff and damage to John, and it's bullshit, right?
And so like the one of the reasons why I love those games so much, outside from the gameplay and the look and really everything about them, is this concept of like, when you start one of those games at the beginning, when nothing's known about them, you're basically joining this community of rumor spreaders, and like it's even baked into the design of the game. Yeah. Like when you drop messages on the ground, like say like, you know, go this way for a treasure or whatever, and these are, you can't like type word for word what the messages are, as anyone who's played those games know. Yeah. But like, and then also you can play with that too, like, which I love to do, and I love it when it happens to me most of the time. But like when someone says jump off here, and it's like a cliff, and then you die. Yeah. Like that's, you know, that's so a negative. What to believe? Yeah. Yeah. So like to me, like this whole thing, like I said, it's baked into what those games are, and a big reason why I love them so much.
I think that's a really good rebuttal to my position. So I'm going to reel. This is me reeling it back in. And actually, I appreciate you saying that, because of the FromSoft games that I've played, Demon Souls actually also, the Demon Souls remake also had that, where they added in, I can't remember specifically what it was. I think it might have been an armor set, and it may not even been that powerful, but they added something extra into the remake and didn't tell anybody. Yeah. And it took a while, and I think you had to find these coins around the world, something like that. And eventually somebody figured it out, and then it was just a reveal. And it wasn't even a great reveal, but I think the modern gamers, or at least the gamers that are FromSoft fans, they appreciate the chase, and they appreciate the effort being made to obscure these things more than the actual payoff. They don't even care about the payoff so much. They just really care about, is there something else there that we can discover, like modern day treasure hunters. So I think you're right about that. I'm not sure if it exists beyond FromSoft games, and if it does, it sure seems like the Soulsborns, so you're right, there really is a very intentional effort to put stuff in there that is sort of ripe for internet conversation and rumor and all of that stuff. And that is a nice throwback to the way it was.
Yeah.
Way back.
Well,
in
and
the
then you just mentioned like you don't know if there's an analog to that. So obviously the Souls games, and then the games that are inspired by the Souls games. But the big one, the real big one, it came out after the PS3 Demon Souls, but before all this other stuff, was that Phil Fish game, Fez.
Oh, Fez.
So Fez, the whole deal about Fez was that like it's like this puzzle platformer where like the world rotates and stuff like that. But there's like this entire layer, like it's multiple layers of like of story, of setting, all this stuff that you have to discover as you play. And the people who played that game at the beginning, and I wasn't one of them, unfortunately, that was really what people were talking about. They weren't talking about like how fun this like puzzle platformer game was. Although, I mean, it was a good game, but the discussion was really about uncovering all these secrets in the game and then sharing those secrets amongst each other to really like figure out like, you know, what's this all really all about.
My comparison to that, and this is actually a pretty good place for me to mention because I might forget otherwise, is the game just came out, I think last year, Tunic. Tunic, great indie game. Everybody go play Tunic. It's an exceptional indie game that is so very clearly inspired by the original 8-bit Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
And part of the gameplay in that game is as you go through the world, you pick up pieces of the instruction manual for the game. And it's really cool because the instruction manual looks like the instruction manual for the original 8-bit Legend of Zelda would.
And what's cool, it's also like written in like a fake language too.
And that's part of it, is that you if you're enterprising enough, you can decode that fake language. And also there's this musical component to it where there's like songs and and there's all these secrets. And I usually am better than this, but as I was playing the game, I just beat it like a normal person would beat the game. And then I went back and I did a few things, and then I was sort of done with it. And then I started looking it up online. What other people say? What are the ratings for this game? And then I discovered that there's this entire like almost hidden game of just secrets to get revealed and caves to explore, whatever. And I was like, oh man, I wish I hadn't actually done that and gone online and looked at everything, so I wouldn't be spoiled, because this game, this is not an exaggeration, had probably 40% of the content I hadn't experienced at all after beating the game and going back in and then doing all the stuff that I thought was there. So I was like, man, they really put some extreme thought. I hope they do a sequel to, because then I will go into it clean and I won't look up anything.
Yeah.
But they really put a lot of thought into that. And
well, it's not just putting the thought into it. It's like the effort that goes into hiding all of this crap.
Yes. And it has to be extreme effort because you're building the game knowing that the internet is out there.
Exactly. So
people are going to try to look stuff up, and you're trying to create a world where if you either don't want to look it up, or until the moment that the first person has found it and then put it online, everybody is in this sort of treasure tracking mode.
Yeah, you're in it together.
Yeah.
And that's why the Souls games are so great at the beginning. And going back to Fez, like with the whole hidden language thing, I'm sure there's something that we're not thinking of that did this before, but Fez sticks out in my mind as like the first modern game that did that exact thing, where like you had to using like deductive principles, like that's how you figured out how this language worked, and then it gave you more into the story of the game itself.
And I really, so Fez is another good example. That's twice that you brought the goods to this conversation.
Full of the goods. Full of the goods. Oh, did I mention I have Mario Paint? Full of the goods.
I'm sorry. Your knowledge of gaming is better than your artistic.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, or I'm not even sure. I'm probably not even that interested in your answer, but so just say whatever. Don't
sugarcoat it or anything, guys.
No, really, I'm just setting you up here so I could say the thing that I want to say.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
What is your favorite internet rumor, or not internet rumor, video game rumor from when you were growing up? And I don't care at all what you say here.
Okay, perfect.
Just say it quickly so I can
so that you can move on. You won't listen to the words that I'm saying.
I'm not listening right now.
You're just structuring the sentence in your head. Perfect. Okay. So for me, it would have been playing as Kano and Sonya in Mortal Kombat 2.
That's my answer.
Oh, fuck off, man. Take that.
Joe Matan shake. That was my answer.
That's so awesome.
It was the Kano Sonya thing.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about what you said. I just wanted to say my thing. My thing was the Kano Sonya thing. Okay, so since you did that, good job on you. Explain to anybody who's under the age of 35 out there what that exactly was.
Okay, so Mortal Kombat 1 comes out, huge smash hit. I'm sure we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat. I mean, look at the fucking name of this show.
That might come up at some point.
Yeah. So In Mortal Kombat, you had two characters, Sonya and Kano, were there. Mortal Kombat 2 comes out, is even a bigger smashing success.
Yep.
And the roster is bigger, although there's two noticeable characters that are missing, Kano and Sonya. However, they're not missing. They are in the background of one of the boss stages. That like to say it's a boss stage is a little bit disingenuous because you would see it like even in like a normal arcade run. But that's where like you'd see Shao Kahn. That's where you would typically fight Kintaro and then later Shao Kahn. But that it gets even gnarlier than that, dude. So there was all these rumors that were spread that like, oh yeah, if you like do a fatality with your head sticking out of this or with the background on this part, like they'll come out and then you fight them and all so millions of stories like that. So, but we had no access as kids, obviously. We had no access to the test modes of these arcade games. Which now as a cultured man, an owner operator myself, I have a ton of arcade stuff. And one of the coolest things that you find out is when you go into the test mode, and if you don't know what that is, arcade boards had dip switches, or they would have like software dip switches where you would basically set the options in a game just like you would if you go to the options menu on like a Sega Genesis game. Right. These things were designed for operators to go in and make their games either harder to steal more of your money or less hard to also steal more of your money. Right. Exactly. But in the test mode of Mortal Kombat 2, it shows statistics of everything, like how many games have you played with Scorpion, how many games you played with Sub-Zero. It says how many games have you played with Kano, how many have you played with Sonya. So like they almost encourage, no, not almost, they 100% encouraged these rumors and then played with them themselves, like to people who are adults that wouldn't give a hoot. Like arcade operators in 1993 were not 10-year-olds. I'm sure there's a good amount of them that love Mortal Kombat, obviously.
I know, right,
but like the fact that they would go to those lengths to like to basically on purpose fuck with people. That's the Mortal Kombat difference. And I have so much more to talk about when it comes to rumors in Mortal Kombat and how they're the absolute masters of this stuff.
Imagine the arcade operators telling the kids, first of all, if you came across that in the options menu or the test mode or whatever, you would be very strongly incentivized to tell any kid who came in, hey,
look at it.
This is in the test mode that it says Sonya and Kano are playable. So how much money you got there, kid? Go pour all of it into my arcade.
So real quick story, since we're talking about this time period, this is a true story rumor that I fell for. And I am not a person who falls for rumors. I'm a worker, not a mark.
That's right.
So anyway.
Well known.
I'm in like 3rd grade and Street Fighter 2 is the biggest thing in the world. And I have a classmate of mine who tells me about the Super Sonic Boom. Guile's Sonic Boom. So at the time, I didn't even know how to do a regular Sonic Boom, right? Like I'm talking Street Fighter's like just out. So like maybe kids know how to do a fireball. And like some of the cool teenagers are like teaching younger kids how to do fireballs and stuff.
Hey, watch this, everyone! What's the move, Brian, for Sonic Boom now?
Oh, it's charge back, forward, any punch. Obviously.
Okay,
am I stupid? Am I stupid?
Yeah, that'll be on your tombstone.
Yeah, obviously. But a friend of mine, Jonathan, never gonna forget or forgive this person, told me that like if you go and charge back for, I think he said like charge back for 10 seconds and do forward. And all of the buttons, all 6 buttons, you'll do this crazy move that fills the whole screen. And so I go to my local bowling alley that has Street Fighter 2, and I'm pumping in quarter after quarter, playing 2 players because like I'm not good enough to like try this move on computer. I'm just getting killed, right? So like I'm putting in player 1 and player 2 quarters and trying this move over and over. And the first time I pull off a normal Sonic Boom, I'm like, money well spent. But I'm doing it the same way where I'm like charging back. But it's this tiny little shit, this little, right? It's not this big screen filling thing. So I consistently think I'm doing it wrong.
Right.
So I keep over and over. My mom is just like, poor lady is just standing there watching me throw her money into the trash. And like eventually she tells me like, I think you got it. I think. And I'm like, no, Mom, it's going to fill the whole screen.
He said the whole
screen. He said it. He wouldn't lie. I don't know what a rumor is. I'm in 3rd grade, right? So anyway, that all goes down the way it does. And then I never see the Supersonic Boom. I feel kind of cheated, but also I feel kind of like, like rewarded smart if you want, because I figured out how to do a Sonic Boom, at least. A normal, not a super. But yeah, there you go. That's
did you saw that guy again though at some point in your life?
Oh yeah. No one had told him the whole story. Like, hey dude, I spent like $6 trying to do a Supersonic Boom, and I just don't think it's there.
That's 24 plays.
Yeah, I just don't think it's there.
What did he say? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, it was like, I think you're doing it wrong. Are you sure you're counting 10 seconds? It's 10 Mississippis. You're doing a 1 in a Mississippi, right?
You said his name was Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan. Jonathan Goldberg. He lives in Lake Tahoe.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, not to out him personally or anything like that. He may have moved from Lake Tahoe. I don't know.
If you're out there, Jonathan Goldberg from Lake Tahoe,
I'm coming for you. Want my $6 back. But anyway, I don't. I had the time of my life learning how to do a sonic boom. My mom probably didn't. My mom wanted to get the hell out of town.
First of all, that is a spectacular story. Okay, so my comp is a person who, and I can actually use his name because I don't think he'll be offended to hear the story. His name is Ryan Scott, who's in the industry, I guess, or whatever. He and I used to talk on the phone all the time, and he would tell me about the world of Nintendo. I don't have internet. I had a subscription to Nintendo Power, and that was it. But Ryan, who lived in Silicon Valley and had subscriptions to all the gaming magazines, it felt like he would get one of these every other day. And we'd talk on the phone, and this is the days of long distance calls and phone bills.
When it costs a lot of money, yes.
Yeah. And so eventually I'd be like, hey man, my mom's going to see the phone bill and like freak out. So I'm going to have to go. And he'd be like, no. Here, let's talk about this new thing that's coming out. I just read a magazine. And one day he told me that there was like a secret in The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, the Super Nintendo Zelda game, where if you went up to the top of the pyramid while you were in the dark world and you blew the whistle 50 times.
Oh, of course it's going to be 50 times.
That something would happen. I don't even remember what the something was. But again, the treasure hunters were all about the chase. And I don't even know about the payoff.
It's always about the chase.
So he was like, stay on the phone with me. And then you just blow the whistle 50 times. And then we'll talk about other stuff while you're doing that. And then so I didn't stay on the phone with him. I hung up on him and ran to my Super Nintendo. So that's like...
That's so cool. His plan backfired.
Thanks for the information, sucker. Yeah. Now I'm going to go test this out. And then I sat there and then I blew it 50 times and predictably nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And then thinking that I might have been doing it wrong. A second time, and I had a little piece of paper.
Were you doing Mississippi's? It's got to be one Mississippi. Two. Yeah.
I had a piece of paper where I would do like the strike marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, then cross.
Yeah. You're like a prisoner. You're like a prisoner counting the days in jail.
I put like more effort into that than like any school assignment that I had. It was like meticulous.
Well, it's important. What you're doing is important.
And then when I didn't get the payoff, I called him up immediately back up. And I was like, yeah, man. So what's the deal here? You know, the jig is up. Yeah. And he was like, I just want to talk a little bit longer.
Well, at least he was honest about it.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Because I didn't get that from Jonathan Goldberg. I didn't. It was like, well, you're not doing it wrong. When you're doing it wrong, you idiot. That's what you're doing.
But in this movie, he causes mayhem and bullshit to the Van Damme babies, right? And so after they get rescued, right? They get rescued, Alex and Chad, by one of the cops who has a mustache and he's bald, and he knew their dad and mom, and he's like a friend. So he takes Chad home, right? And he turns him out to be a total babe magnet, right? And then Alex I think he stays in Hong Kong where all the other people are, right? And he becomes like a, kind of like a criminal, but like a nice one, you know, basically. So like, it basically, my favorite scene in the movie, right, is when, Alex is fucking drunk as a skunk, and he's got a hot babe, but Chad is a hot babe magnet, right? So like, Alex gets wasted, and he's thinking about his own brother, right? And then like he's drunk, and so like gets him like all kind of like mad, but also horny, and that's like. You want to talk about conflict? Right there's your conflict, right? Mad and horny, that's... Whew. So anyway, like they fucking fight, right? Van Damme versus Van Damme. It's so fucking cool. So it is a double value Van Damme movie because you have Chad Van Damme, Alex Van Damme. You do see them fight each other, which is incredible. And then also you see you see Chad bang his lady, and you see most of it. So, I highly recommend this movie. Give it a double 10, so that's a 20 out of 10 because of the doubles. And yeah, double impact. Like and subscribe, and I just want to say I love you so hard to the Laserdisc fam, whoop Laserdisc, and I love you, and we'll see you all on the next Laserdisc review. Oh fuck, I did want to get to a thing. I did forget, so bear with me. So I did earlier review Coolest Eyes, right, on Laserdisc, and I did make an error in my review. I wanted to mention that the construction site where they do all their rap hop dancing, and where they really, when these two really kind of fall in love, right? That's owned by these two old white people, which I think is like, it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that, you know, like this movie, if nothing else, is about unity, right? All people, all ages, right? So that's it. I love you, and subscribe and like, and love you.